going over the stats though as well. Deebo Samuel, 1,000 yards receiving, fantastic, huge accomplishment.
He had
First
one
49er to do
catch
it.
for 12 yards to get over it, and it was in like the third quarter.
It was right before he got injured too. I think it was like 2 or 3 plays before he got injured.
Yeah.
But hey,
he also had 6
congrats.
carries for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
Exactly, yeah. He has been phenomenal this season, and it just really shows. I mean, first since 2014, first receiver for the 49ers to get 1,000 yards receiving since Saquon Bolden. First since George Kittle did it in 2019 overall. It's huge for the 49ers. And I remember for years, I was hoping they would have a number one receiver, a guy that they could get to. Although they don't use Deebo Samuel primarily as a receiver, he is still a complete baller. And you get the ball in his hands as a running back, as a wide receiver, it doesn't matter. He's going to make plays. Were you a little interested, or I should say interested, were you a little confused at how the first half of the game didn't really get him the ball? They weren't manufacturing carries for him or touches.
Not really, because the guy getting the targets was Brandon Ayuk, because he was just like wide open all game. Jimmy missed him quite a few times. Otherwise, we would be talking about how Brandon Ayuk had a 200-yard receiving game. There were a couple, like there was a 3rd and long that they converted where there was nobody within 10 yards of Brandon Ayuk, and he just ran an in route, like a 12-yard in, and was just sitting in the middle of the field with nobody around him. Like just a layup. A high school quarterback can make that throw. And it tells me that they were so focused on what Deebo Samuel was potentially going to do to them on top of stopping the 49ers run game, that it's like, well, you have to pick your poison, right? So you hear the big names, oh, Kittle, oh, Deebo Samuel, oh, the running game, right? And so somebody's got to be open, and that man was Brandon Ayuk. So he had 3 catches for 91 yards, but I think he was targeted 8 times. That's big time, you know? And again, each and every week since that incident where he came out and said he had words with Shanahan, he's looked like the man, at least in terms of receiving. He runs it tough. I mean, he even got some scraps today, and he was showing some fight. And not in the Josh Norman way that's going to get you penalized, but in the nice, like, hey, I'm following this block maybe a little bit too long after the whistle, right? Just to let you know, I'm here, and I'm going to be physical with you. And it worked out. He drew that unsportsmanlike conduct when the defender, I think Dantzler, ripped his helmet off, and later on there was another little scuffle, and he's just, he's in it. He's fully invested, and he's turned a corner, and it's a great thing to see for the 49ers.
Most definitely. And this is also the second week in a row that Brandon Ayuk has kind of gotten inside the heads of the defender. If you remember, he got the same call against Jacksonville where they kind of all got into it, and then I forget who it was, but the defender actually got ejected last week. So I don't know what Ayuk is doing, but he's definitely getting inside these defenders' heads.
And he's talking shit.
He totally is, and
he's
you
totally
love it
talking,
because he's doing it in a way that the ref doesn't see it, or it's not enough to justify a penalty against him. But he gets the defender to retaliate. I wanted to ask you, Matt, we haven't talked about this. Obviously, every 49ers fan knows the last couple of years, Dante Pettis, the tough love treatment did not work. It seemed like Kyle, I don't know, maybe this is me just completely speculating from the outside looking in. Like he wanted Dante Pettis to stand back up like Brandon Ayuk did and say, you know what, F you, I'm not going to take that. I'm a complete competitor. This is ABC why I should be here. It sounds like from all reports and all quotes from Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Shanahan, Ayuk did just that. And, it wasn't, oh, Kyle Shanahan talked to me and told me I need to do, ABC better. It said we had words, which is kind of implies a mutual exchange, heated exchange possibly. Do you think that that's the difference between a guy like Dante Pettis and Brandon Ayuk, that Brandon Ayuk stood up to, I don't want to say stood up, but kind of held his own when challenged about his ability?
That's what they're looking for, particularly after Dante Pettis. I don't think Kyle Shanahan wants another guy that's going to shrink away from him or pout or do whatever, right? Like that's part of the reason why they're going after these guys. At first they were going after, oh, I like this trait. I like this trait. I like this trait. Now they're going after guys who maybe they don't have the best traits, but they're culture guys. And you can see that where Dante Pettis just completely crumbled and withered. Brandon Ayuk was like, no, screw that. Like, listen, you can say whatever you want. I'm going to listen to you as a coach, but I belong here. I don't care what you say. Like, I'll rise to your challenge. Okay. He's like, okay, we'll see. We'll see. And now we're seeing. And I think that that's part of the reason why they drafted Brandon Ayuk, was because of that mentality that they got and that they saw when he was at Arizona State. So I'm not surprised. It's a good thing. You shouldn't have to. I think you play a dangerous game when you tailor your coaching methods to individual players past a certain point. It's a big time problem in the NBA. And it's been a problem with a lot of teams in the NFL. You need to, I'm not saying you have to go full Belichick where you just like dress down Brady year 18 in front of people, but at the same time, everybody needs to be held accountable, whether you're the best dude on the team or you're like number 53.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's going to help when, the players go back over the game tape or, the people who are around to see it. When Shanahan, when Jimmy throws that pick and Shanahan's like, that's absolutely unacceptable. And Shanahan's lighting into him on the sideline. That's your captain. That's one of your captains. If he could do it to him, he could do it to you. So it's the building of the culture. And it's the reason why a team like Minnesota, who seems like they're kind of halfway out the door with Mike Zimmer, lose this game, and a team like the 49ers, who are starting to, round into shape and really starting to find their footing and find their voice, can pull one out despite the fact that they did not play their best game. So these are the types of games that good teams end up winning and that bad teams don't. And so we're kind of seeing what the 49ers are made of going forward. They have to keep the momentum. It's 3 in a row. Go out, win another one, and you keep building that positive momentum, and before you know it, you're one of the best teams in the league.
Yep. A few people have said this. Great analysis there, by the way, Matt. But a few people have said this kind of has the feeling of that. I believe it was 2011 New York Giants team, the one that ended up going to win it. I think they were 9-7 and they were a wild card team. Obviously, I'm not saying the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl, but that feeling of, hey, early on, nobody thought this team was anything, including myself. And they found a way to get it done. But back to my point, this kind of has that feel of the team that's getting things right, figuring it out, whatever it is, whether there was some divide in the locker room due to drafting Trey Lance and maybe players were standing on the table for Trey Lance to start, whatever it is, it seems like any divide in this team has kind of faded away. They've overcome it. And now they're playing well. We're actually seeing complete games from the 49ers on both sides of the ball. The defense has kind of adopted this bend, don't break mentality that we used to see with Robert Saleh. And it's a lot bendier, I will say. They've gotten very close to losing this game today, especially with that secondary being tough, but they were able to overcome it and force turnovers.